The kid's going to be big. Look at how he eats tomatoes. He's going to be tall and healthy. Look at how he eats tomatoes. Andrew, you should eat a tomato. And I was like, listen, I shouldn't do fucking anything. You're not my dad.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Yes. Welcome back to Is It Still Good? This is the show where we take our rose-colored glasses, we go to a bar, and we order a cranberry juice, and someone asks us if we're on our period. We take off our glasses, we punch that person. And then later we can't find our glasses, so we are forced to look back upon things of our youth without them, without the rosy lens and shades of nostalgia that we had. We must look at all this shit as just jaded adults. So you're here, no guest today, just the love between the two hosts. I'm Bear Kennedy in Chicago. Joining me from lands unknown,
Andrew Carter back in Los Angeles.
Oh, you're back. I didn't realize you were back.
I am back. Yeah, we were only gone for about 10 days.
Oh, I thought you were doing a long haul.
I wish we were, man. I wish we could. But we had, we have the dog, and Zoe, I guess, she was able to take some time off, but for her job, they require her to, it's just such a boring
We must be recording if you're yawning.
Yeah. I think that she is required to work in the state of California for her job. So it's like we could go stay somewhere else within the state and work, but I don't know. It's a little tough. But it was so great to be home. It was so nice. We got to meet our little nephew. He was adorable. 6 months now. He's 7 months old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I turned 7 months old on November 6th. And yeah, he's amazing and adorable, and it was just great to see family. Saw some friends. It was just really nice. I hadn't been home around Halloween in probably not since high school.
Jesus.
So yeah, it was. I mean, I go home around Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that, but like around Halloween, I had been in California since college. And It was cool. It was cool to be there for that time of year.
Yeah, you gotta recharge the batteries. You gotta soak that in. Just remind yourself that there's life out there that's different from where you're at. Especially if where you're at is Southern California. I don't know. I need to return to the motherland and recharge. I always find so.
I'm totally with you, man. I mean, I love living here, obviously, but it's just really nice to, especially, it's always nice to go home. I always enjoy it, but especially this year of like, wow, I didn't, when you don't think you're going to get to do it.
Oh yeah.
That really adds a lot to it.
Oh, this year has been ridiculous.
Sure. And it was obviously a very, we took last week off because of the election.
We did.
We have since gotten the results. I can speak for both of us. Thank the fuck Christ that Trump is, gone. However, he'll try and tell us that he won for the rest of his life. I'm not. Yeah. He will never concede. It's never going to happen.
It's tough to imagine. It's really hard to imagine. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't think I wasn't joining in the celebrations on the streets that Joe Biden had won. I don't think that makes life better for people who really need it, but I'm no secret that I hate Donald Trump, so it is funny to see him lose, and probably good. I mean, this is a nostalgia and snack show, and I think we can leave it to other shows to do politics much better than we could, which is basically why we took the week off, because it's tough to do something stupid when bigger things are taking priority. Yeah. So that's why we were absent. But I mean, look, it's tough to look at where we are in the world and not think that this is the decline of a once great country. And actually, I was thinking about that a lot as I was thinking about cranberry sauce, which is something I've taken for granted as always part of Thanksgiving. And we can talk more about it, but which I found out has only been really part of it since the 1940s. So you always think that your traditions are much longer than they really are. And sometimes it's easy to think of, in my view, America is like the best country ever. And that is not, I would say, the case, and it hasn't been the case. And if it ever was, it was before I was born.
Especially not right now.
No.
I mean, there's definitely a feeling of hope with Biden being elected, but there still is quite a bit of division. And that is definitely alarming because the division today is much, much different than I think it was. I mean, even back in the first election I voted in was 2008, and I voted for Obama. But even my friends that voted for McCain, it wasn't like, like we didn't hate each other. We barely talked about it because I don't think anybody went to bed fearing for their life, the night
unless you were
election.
in the Middle East. But yeah, other
that's
than that, yeah,
true. Yeah. I mean, but it was, Obama and McCain were both like very capable, and same with Obama and Romney. But it's just very clear that, Trump is just the worst of the worst, a horrible loose cannon who's, just has no business being where he is. And it's genuinely scary. And I just think it's laughable and pathetic now that none of the Republicans they're all backing him. They're all like, none of them have gotten in touch with reality, which is just, it's absurd. But, all we can do is look forward and hope for the best. And as Bear said, we're not really, it doesn't mean that we can't share our opinions, which is what we're doing. But yeah, that's why we took the last week off. Because, we didn't want to be tone deaf. We didn't want to be like, oh, the election's happening. Let's talk about Thanksgiving side, which, by the way, that's a nice segue into what we're doing for the month of November. We are going to be talking about Thanksgiving meal sides, our favorite ones, or maybe they won't be our favorite once we try them again. First up is cranberry sauce. Now, Bear and I have both homemade cranberry. I'm going to show mine to camera.
I'll show mine as well. I've got a glass bowl, which you can see.
Glass bowl, look at that.
Gelatinous
tilt it down so we can see.
I got a spoon in here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It looks like you did not strain yours, and I did not strain mine either.
I didn't, because I kind of like a little bit of the chewiness in there.
I completely agree. Actually, I think that if you leave it unstrained and leave the skins in there, it makes it slightly more bitter, which I think is good. But my mom makes it and strains it, and she really gets that pure Jello smoothness when she makes it.
That is nice too.
Which I also like. I was thinking about strained versus unstrained, and I think I have room in my life for both. I don't know if you have a strong opinion there, but when I make it, I tend not to strain it.
This is actually the first time I personally have made it.
Oh, okay. What did you think?
It was a very easy process. My family, when they make it, they do it the same way. They don't strain. I didn't realize, I guess I always knew maybe in the back of my head, but I didn't realize that orange juice was a part of it.
It depends on what you look at, but I did use orange juice as well.
I used blood orange juice. I actually went to Trader Joe's and got some blood oranges and juiced them. I thought about getting Tropicana, but there's already sugar in that, and then you add sugar, and it was just like, that's just going to be way too sweet. So I just wanted pure orange juice, and I also the recipe called for 1 cup of orange juice and 1 cup of sugar. I got about 3/4 cup of orange juice in there, and I got, hey, sorry, my dog's trying to eat my accoutrement. Bill, stop. He comes right up to the table, the whites of his eyes. So I got about
the whites of his eyes, like you're on Okinawa.
Yeah, dude. He's a fucking drug addict. He's insane. Let's see if he can make a little cameo to those watching. This is Bill. Say hi, Bill. He's gonna go right asshole. For that food. Yeah, look, he's looking. He's eyeing the whole table. He's like, okay, what am I gonna get first? That's my wife's lovely laugh. So 3/4 cups of orange juice, and I think I got about a 1/2 cup of sugar. I don't like too much sugar, not because I don't like the taste. I love the taste, but I don't know. We're in our 30s now. You gotta watch what you eat a little bit.
Sure.
And so. Sorry, my wife Zoe just popped in and goes, I cut my hair. It looks really good. Yeah, well done. But I think I think too much sugar is just like, it's kind of a death wish to an extent. So I like to try and,
I
watch
see
it.
what you're saying. I mean, I tend to not. I do quite a bit of baking, and I would consider this kind of along that line. I tend not to cut sugar or butter when I bake, just because I don't want to upset the balance of things.
That's
I mean, I
fair.
totally get it. I'm not, as we've covered before, I'm not a huge sweet tooth guy.
Right.
I think in my recipe, I went with like 3/4 cups of sugar. I used half a cup of orange juice. I cheated. I did Florida's Natural with some pulp. Uh,
Okay. All
like
right.
half a cup of water, and then I eyeballed some whiskey in there, and
Ooh.
uh, and that was basically it. And cranberry and a cinnamon stick. But I think you're right.
I read about the cinnamon after I did it. And I was like,
Yeah,
that
just
would have been cool.
threw one in there. I completely agree with you. I think if you use orange juice from the store, you are running the risk of having too much sugar.
Right.
And depending on how you feel about cranberry sauce, that might be really good or just like way too sweet. But I've made cranberry sauce many times. I think, like you said, it's incredibly easy. It's one of the easiest things you can make, to the point where I really don't think you should buy it in a can
Oh,
unless you have a
no.
compelling reason.
Unless you really have zero time. But this took 15 minutes.
It really does. I mean, it's unbelievable
Yeah.
how quickly you can do it, and it smells amazing. I don't know about you, but it smelled wonderful making it.
It smells incredible. And
Yeah.
it's funny when I was reading the recipe, and it was like, until the cranberries start popping, I was kind of expecting them to pop like popcorn. And obviously that wasn't the case at all.
No, it's
They
far
just,
gentler.
yeah, it was like very, very quiet, and you just eventually stir it and it just becomes almost like, as you said, like a gelatin.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
Which
there's like a point you hit where it just like it just takes. It stops
Yes.
being
So did you?
liquidy. It just like becomes sauce.
Yes, exactly. So I followed an allrecipes.com recipe. Did you follow the one? That's the one. Did you follow that one too,
I
or did
think
you follow your own?
I think I don't have one that's my own. I used, oh Christ, I already closed the tab. I used something, and it was similar. Like one of the things I've learned about cranberry sauce is you actually, not only is it very quick, you kind of can't fuck it up. Like
Yeah.
most recipes are very similar. It looks like, as I was looking around, thoughts deferred on orange juice. I think squeezing your own blood orange, I'm actively mad that you did that, because that sounds so fucking good.
I hope so. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I was definitely proud of myself for being like, oh, you know what? We have a I actually didn't even end up using the juicer, but I was like, we have a juicer. I'll just squeeze my own juice. But we have this the cocktail thing where you just put
Yep.
the citrus in there and squeeze it. So I just used that.
Perfect.
And I'm really glad I found blood oranges, because at
That
first
was
I
a
was
great
just like,
one.
I'll just get some navel oranges or regular ones or cara cara, which are also really good. But I just love blood oranges.
Yeah, I think that's a great call. And again, like you really shouldn't buy this shit from the store. If you make it yourself, there's a little room for some creative interpretation that I think
Right.
is very good. Like that cinnamon stick, I would add that to your notes for next time.
Yeah, and whiskey. Which whiskey did you use?
I'm trying to get through. I have a bunch of open bottles of whiskey, and we're coming up on Christmas, which
Yeah.
is when they do the gift sets, which I really like. So I've been trying to finish some shit. So I just used, I think I had whatever just the baseline Elijah Craig is. I just kind of eyeballed some of that in there.
Okay.
It's like mid shelf. It's fine. I think I bought it because of the gift set last year. I think it came with something I wanted, like a glass or something.
All right.
I'm stupid like that. But
No, be nice.
there is a DJ Shadow song called Systematic with Nas, and Nas raps over it. And like a minute and a half into that song, he out of nowhere drops a cranberry sauce recipe, which is unbelievably hilarious and awesome. And
What's the
he
recipe?
says,
Do you remember it?
yeah, it's basically the same shit. He says you got to add a little Henny in there. So if I had Hennessy, I would have. And then he tells you let it simmer till the cranberries pop a bit. I forget what the rhyme is, but you ain't finished. It's an amazing thing to just slip into an otherwise non-food related song. He just starts just brings his passion for cranberry sauce. So that's kind of where I got that idea. I didn't like listen to that song in preparation. I just liked that song, and I was like, oh yeah, like Nas does recommend a little Henny. Let's see what I have in the brown liquor arena that I can add here.
Damn,
So
I see. Now I'm jealous of you. I
it's
wish
good.
that I
Yeah.
had thought of that.
Yeah, I recommend those 2 changes for next time. But like I said, it's easy enough to execute that you can put some notes in the margin of your recipe card or whatever the fuck you're working with, and
I'll do that.
improve.
So you said that you found that cranberry sauce wasn't really introduced to Thanksgiving meals until the 1940s.
Yeah, it wasn't even like commercially produced till I
Right.
believe the 20s, and then it said from what I found, it like caught on in the 40s. There was no evidence to suggest that it was part of the original Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims and all that shit.
Wow.
Even though there is, I guess, a prevalence of cranberry bogs in the Northeast, in New England,
Right.
where you're from.
Yeah. It feels, that's so interesting to hear, because it feels like it's funny that you say that, because when I was a kid, I don't remember really being, I think I remember even looking at cranberry sauce and just being like, no, I'm not going to have that. And I don't remember when it changed or how, but probably like my early 20s, it changed. And it was like, I need this shit.
It was that late for you, like in your 20s?
I think so. Maybe high school, I guess, but like, I don't know. There was a time when I just like, it wasn't even a thought. It was just like it wasn't like I was grossed out by it. I was just like, nah, I'm not, I don't really. But then I don't know what changed. And now it's like, I need it. I
think like in general, like anything bitter is difficult for a child. Like, I think that's just a really tough flavor to understand is like good or pleasurable. I remember in kindergarten doing like a thing where like the teacher had like the 4 like salty, sweet, bitter. What's the other one? I'm missing one. Umami. There's another like main taste.
Salty, sweet, bitter.
Zoe,
what are the main tastes? Salty, sweet, bitter, sour.
Umami.
And what?
Umami.
What's umami?
It's like savory flavor.
Oh, okay.
It's like like a really good burger or like a mushroom gives you the umami taste. Like back
that's
of the
why
tongue.
There's umami burger.
There you go. Great phone a friend there, by the way. Say thank you to Zoe for me.
Yeah, thank you, Zoe. Bear says thank you.
I remember
you're welcome.
I remember like being in kindergarten, tasting the different shit, and the teacher had put out little like chocolate chips, but they were unsweetened, so they were bitter as shit. And I remember eating that and being like, what the fuck? Like, I thought this was going to be delicious, and it sucks. Yeah. And that really, obviously,
so it was
thinking
like
about
cacao.
Yeah, it was something that was like if you make brownies from scratch, you use the unsweetened shit, and you add your own sugar. Like, that's a way to make brownies.
Right.
And you use that unsweetened bitter chocolate. It tastes like shit, but it looks normal. So I remember feeling very tricked at that point. And I think the same thing happened with cranberry sauce, because it looks like Jell-O, especially if you strain it like my mom does. And I remember being a kid and be like, get this shit out of here.
Does it move like Jell-O if you strain it?
Yeah, it does. Because like this is decently gelatinous now. I feel like it really, you get like that jiggle.
Yeah, this is a little. Yeah, this is kind of gelatinous. It's jiggling a little bit.
Yeah, it's much more pronounced in the strained version.
Right.
So I remember that as well. Like, I just hated it as a kid, but I don't remember the Thanksgiving. I was going to ask you, do you remember like a switch going off? Like, you just tried it on a whim and you're like, oh, let's go on this shit.
I wish I did. But I will say, I remember the Friends episode where in the first season where Monica's forced to make like all different types of potatoes for her friends because they're all spending Thanksgiving together, and Joey really wants tater tots, and he says a line that's like, oh, come on, you got a little turkey, a little cranberry sauce, and a tot. And for some reason that always stuck with me, and so whenever I think of cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving, I think of that line. And so I imagine it was, like I said, my early 20s or something. But now, I mean, we just did Thanksgiving when we were back home in Connecticut. We just had like our Thanksgiving meal, like turkey and mashed potatoes, and we had everything. And the cranberry sauce is, for me, it's such a necessity. But the thing that's interesting is that I've never made my own, so I
Yeah.
don't know. And I haven't tasted it.
Oh, you didn't taste it
Like,
while you were cooking?
no, I
Oh,
just
okay.
because I want to see. I want to have like a live reaction of like, okay, I mean, I guess you could say that like on paper, yes, cranberry sauce is still good, but is this one still good? Because look, if if Zoe and I are doing like proper Thanksgiving Day meal here, then I'm gonna need to figure this shit out.
Well, that's good. It's good you gave yourself a trial run. I think that's
You
important.
have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess like I don't know. It must have been when I was early 20s, and I haven't gone back. Now I can't imagine not having it.
I agree. I just wish I
What
had
about
that
you?
moment where I like realized like, oh fuck, like this is good. Like I didn't like seafood as a kid at all. So I was like 18, and I had a moment where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this rules. Because your
Yeah.
palate does change as you get older. And
Did you avoid cranberry sauce as a kid too?
absolutely yes.
Yeah.
But I think it must have changed for me probably high school or so. So I'm
Yeah.
having trouble remembering a time recently where I wouldn't want it, or like I usually look forward to it. So
Right.
I
Me
know
too.
when I was a kid, I fucking was like, I hate this.
Yeah, you know what it is? Maybe it's just maybe it just like looks like an adult thing. Like maybe it looks like red wine or something. So kids are like, "Ooh, it's a wine sauce."
I
No,
think it looks
something.
like Jello, and then it isn't. So your mind can't deal with that
That's
dissonance. You're like, oh, this
yeah.
tastes like shit. Like Jello is good and sweet, and this is like weird and chunky.
That's a really good point. You know what I just realized? On Zoom, we look like we're the same size, and that makes me laugh because in person, that could not be further from the truth.
That's great camera magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are not the same
Like,
size.
did you realize that cameras can do that? I mean, that's amazing to me.
Incredible. Yeah, who would have thought?
This Zoom thing is pretty spectacular.
Many years after film school, still being impressed by the miracle of photography.
Here's the other thing we should do, I think, because I don't know if I've ever done this. That's not true. I probably have. I want to have my first bite of this, just the cranberry sauce, no accoutrement, no nothing with it. I recommend you do the same. But before we get into that, what accoutrements do you have with it?
I've got Ritz crackers, which are just kind of my go-to for anything. It's just a great vehicle for really any dip or cheese or spread. I'm not being paid by Ritz. I like them.
Like
and I
Ritz.
find other crackers to not be good. So I did that, and then I made myself a turkey sandwich as well.
Oh,
and just put that shit right on.
God damn it. Good call.
Yeah, because I really like cranberry sauce with a turkey sandwich or even a turkey burger. If you don't dress it up like a beef burger, if you just
so there's the Mark Wahlburgers.
Yes.
So they have a Thanksgiving burger with cranberry sauce on it. And that is like the main reason why when I went to Wahlburgers once in Boston or something, that was the main reason why I ordered that burger.
Hell yes.
Because I was like, I want to have the cranberry sauce. And it was pretty good, I gotta say. My mom makes the best Thanksgiving leftover sandwiches.
Nice.
And I insist the cranberry sauce is on there. She made, and usually I'm, stoned and then I have them after Thanksgiving and it's the best meal ever. This time we weren't, but she gave us some for the flight back.
Oh,
and I
nice.
ate it on the plane while watching. I ate them on the plane while watching When Harry Met Sally. It's one of the happiest moments of 2020.
That was a champion level mom move from her to give you that for the flight home. That's fabulous.
It was incredible. Zoe had hers too, and we were both just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, excellent.
It was incredible.
Call. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, I'm ready to dig in if you are.
I am. I'll be honest. I tasted a little bit of mine when it was hot. I made it this afternoon.
Okay.
So I do already know my opinion on it, but now that it's cooled down, which is how I like it, I will also be joining you.
So I made this about an hour ago, so it is not cool. I don't think it's totally cool, but I don't think it's also like blistering hot either.
Okay.
But I got my spoonful. You got yours.
Mm-hmm.
Here's to you, to your health. Oh wow, the blood orange really adds something to it. It's funny. There's a little bit of bitterness to this, but there's just enough sweetness.
And you using less sugar may have exacerbated the bitterness, but like I said, I like that. So it depends on what's working for you.
Yeah, I don't need it to be like crazy sweet. My accoutrements are I have tortilla chips.
Interesting.
I
can see it.
have I have baby carrots, and I have a piece of brioche toast.
Nice. Very nice.
So here we go. I'm gonna start with a tortilla chip actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna load up a little Ritz, just
So-
plain. I do have a little sharp cheddar if I want to mix that
Ooh,
up,
there
which
you
I
go.
probably will.
Forgive the crunching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ritz cracker gives it a little lightness too. That's good.
Mhm.
Now in the UK, this cranberry sauce is not very sweet. It's like super unsugared, right?
Yeah, it's
I was able to
very bitter in the
research.
UK.
Have you had the UK cran?
Yeah, because we used to. There were times when we were younger. We have family in London, and so we would go over there
Yeah.
around the holidays sometimes. And sometimes we would go during Thanksgiving, and they don't celebrate Thanksgiving over there, but we would still want to like try to have some of the food. And the cranberry sauce was very different. I remember actually that might have been why it took me a while to like it, because that was when the last time I was there for Thanksgiving was in high school. And I remember having the cranberry sauce there being like, oh God, this is like so bitter. I'm not a fan. So I think I hadn't really had it for like, at all. And then I had that and was like, oh, if this is what this is, I'm not into it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
How? Like obviously they don't have Thanksgiving in the UK, but is it difficult to create your own while you're over there, or how foreign is some of this shit that we take for granted for Thanksgiving?
It's pretty foreign.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, I'm sure if you looked hard enough, you could find it, but I remember like going to get, Indian food on Thanksgiving. I remember getting like, takeout from like a chicken place. I remember getting like chicken dinner from a Marks and Spencer grocery. It's not, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Find a Thanksgiving dinner. I remember going to Wagamama, which is like a noodle bar chain. So it's not something that you can just get. What I think it's interesting about the tortilla chips and the cranberry sauce, the texture is exactly like chips and salsa.
Oh, that's
So
very interesting.
It almost feels like I'm just eating chips and salsa, but the salsa, it's almost like a cranberry salsa or something.
I can see that because sometimes you get the chunks of tomato in the salsa,
Yeah.
so you're kind of substituting that texture.
Right. And I hate tomato.
Whoa.
So the chunks of cranberry, I don't mind.
You hate tomato in general, or what? You gotta tell me more about that. As someone who identifies as Italian American, you can't just throw that out there.
I love ketchup. I love tomato sauce. I love pizza. I love tomato products, like all that. I just don't like tomatoes. I just don't like the texture. Like I don't get them on burgers. I think they ruin a burger, frankly.
Wow, that's strong. Holy shit.
They're just wet.
That's hard to argue with, but they should help provide the fabled hit of acid, on a burger or any kind of grease scenario. I mean, I definitely.
Yeah, but if you let the burger rest long enough, then you're not going to get that hit anyway.
I have never let a burger rest. I mean, I'll be honest. Like this is the first sandwich I've eaten in a long time. This turkey sandwich I'm kind of getting into right now, where I haven't eaten the whole thing without putting it down. Like I do not rest between bites of sandwich. I am straight through.
That's all good and well, but I'm talking about when you first get the burger, or if you make it's usually at a restaurant, it's reasonable to assume that they'll serve it to you ready to eat, so you don't have to let it rest. But if you make your own burger, you should let it rest for a little bit, because if you take a bite, the juices are just gonna fall all over you, and it's gonna lose not only some of its flavor, it might even fall apart. So if you wait a little bit, then just that'll hopefully make sure that it's ready to eat when you actually can consume it.
Yeah, that's sound advice. But yeah, with tomatoes, I don't want to harp on this too much, but is it like, is it really the wetness? Is it like a dirt thing? Because sometimes there's an earthiness to tomato that may be unpleasant. Are you more focused on this is an amount of moisture that I find unpleasant?
Sorry, I'm chewing my carrot.
Oh, yeah, me too. I put a little cheese with this cranberry sauce on a cracker. Very good. Very
I
good.
bet it's great. How's that turkey sandwich, by the way?
It's great. I mean, my problem right now is that I didn't have lettuce, which I don't know about your. I mean, you said you are locked in.
I love lettuce because but okay.
You need that
there's
crunch.
the thing. You need the crunch, exactly.
Gotta have the crunch. So I'm lacking that. I put mayo on the sandwich, which also very good with the turkey cran mayo deal.
Yes. Yes.
But I will say I'm sorely lacking lettuce, and I'm using sourdough bread, and I could have gone white or a bun here.
Sourdough's pretty good though.
It is good in normal situations, yes, but I need something a little lighter on the palate, if that makes sense here.
That's
which
fair.
I'm not getting. But otherwise, I mean, this is very good.
That's fair. I get that. Tomatoes, yeah, I don't like the texture. That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
Because I love, like I said, I love ketchup. I love tomato sauce. I love salsa. I love a lot of tomato products, but I don't like the texture and I don't like chunky tomato stuff. Although, if the tomatoes are diced really, 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 really tiny, I do enjoy a pico de gallo.
Interesting. Okay.
It's very strange, but because I think it's because there's cilantro and there's onion in there, so there's a little crunch, and the tomatoes the tomatoes are almost imperceptible.
I agree, even though they are a big part of the of the ratio. But yeah,
right.
When you eat pico de gallo, it tastes like pico. It doesn't taste like you're eating a tomato. So it actually isn't as weird as I thought it was going to be. Yeah,
it's not, and I also think that the taste of tomatoes. I mean, it's one of the. That's why there's so much of it in so many things. It's an amazing taste. Just like a beefsteak tomato on a sandwich or a burger or whatever. It just feels like it. I don't know. It feels like there's like this wet thing. It feels like it shouldn't be there.
Interesting.
That's what it feels. Every time I've ever bitten into it on a sandwich, whether it's a turkey club or a burger or something, I'm just like, why is this here? This shouldn't be here.
I respect it. My father has a theory that they've genetically engineered tomatoes to have less taste by accident, and so if you like eating a tomato is not very good. But as you pointed out, if you like tomato flavored things or tomatoes use it as an ingredient to make a better thing, is quite good. But that's one of the many things I wish I could try. If I had a DeLorean, I could go back in time and see if various fruits tasted different. I think about that a lot when I'm high.
I remember when I was a kid. That's a good idea. I remember when I was a kid, my sister was friends with this girl named Marissa, and she had this younger brother. Sarah and Marissa were the same age, and her younger brother, I think his name was Michael.
Great name.
Great name, right? He was, I want to say like a year younger than me. And he was tall. Bill, sorry, he's trying to eat my food again. Bill, we don't do that. This kid, Michael, was, I think, a year younger than me or 2 years younger than me, but he was like twice my size. I was a really short kid. And he would eat tomatoes whole, and his dad would specifically boast about that. He'd be like,
that's so fucking weird.
He'd be like, the kid's going to be big. Look at how he eats tomatoes. He's going to be tall and healthy. Look at how he eats tomatoes. Andrew, you should eat a tomato. And I was like, listen, I shouldn't do fucking anything. You're not my dad. I remember just being like, leave me alone, you jerk. I hated this guy. Because every time I saw him and every time my sister went over there to play, like I would go over there too. And the kid would just eat his tomatoes. And his dad would be like, look at my boy eating his tomatoes. I'm like, that's not a thing. Like that's,
that is definitely not a thing.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is very strange.
Like, oh, my son comes home and eats a tomato. Yeah, your son's fucking weird. Like,
yeah, that
enjoy that for the rest of your life.
Do we have confirmation that kid ended up weird as an adult?
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could overcome a lot of things, but that is something I've never heard of. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
I certainly had run-ins with parents who would do that weird, like brag about their kid to you when you're also a kid. It's like that is some of the weirdest interaction available as a child.
I also
that's very weird.
I also just think parents bragging about their kids in general,
fuck off.
It's fuck off. It really fuck off. And also it depends on it totally depends on the circumstances. Like I'll brag about Zoe, but not in a way that's like my wife's amazing and better than your wife. It's more like I'm very proud. I'm very proud to be with her, and I'm very proud of what she does for not only like what she does for a living, but like what she does for the greater good, working at Children's Hospital. And I just think that's really cool, and I'm happy to share that. But it's not like I'm like putting her on the spot and being like, oh, let me tell you something about her, okay? Like I'm just. It's a small thing of like, this is my wife. She's amazing. I have no idea what the hell she's doing with me. It's incredible what she does. It's pretty much that.
That's
but anybody who fucking, I don't know. I'm just not into the bragging thing. I never have been. Like, no matter what it is, I just can't do it.
I hate it to the point where I actively don't talk about my own achievements at work, and it kind of makes my boss nuts because I'm like, I don't like when people do that about themselves. So I have internalized not to do that because I fucking hate when other people do it.
Hate it. Like
no one cares.
Like I'm, this, the success that we've had with Revenge Tour. Like I don't really brag about that. I'm proud of it, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just, I don't know. I've never been.
When you're on the other end of it, it sucks. When someone's like bragging to you, it's like, fuck, this is so boring. I don't care. And you're an idiot. And then, so it's like, for me, it's a golden rule thing. Like, I don't want to be that guy who does it because of how much I hate it. So,
right. You know what's interesting about the cranberry on the toast? It just tastes like toast with jam.
Well, I could see that.
Like I could have that for breakfast.
That might be a good addition.
It would be a good breakfast, I think.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that I was reading about cranberry sauce also referred to it as cranberry jam.
Yeah.
So I'm not like a jam expert by any means, but I'd imagine the process to making a jam is probably quite similar to what we've done here with cranberry sauce. But definitely an out there pick. I mean, you don't go to like a Bob Evans and grab a little packet of cranberry jam to spread on your English muffin. It's like, no, it's pretty much you get grape, strawberry. You may luck out with a raspberry, maybe a marmalade, but cranberry sauce, cranberry jam is like unheard of. But I think
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I definitely haven't, but I think that's unearned because it's very good.
It should be there. I have two questions for you. One, how's the temperature on your cranberry sauce?
Very cold. Definitely ideal in the cold zone. So if I was going to have Thanksgiving dinner, I mean, I think we've talked about this offline. One of the best things about cranberry sauce is the contrast of temperature.
Yes.
You've got hot.
Everything else is hot.
Turkey. Everything else is hot. And this just gives you that nice, like, weird bitterness. It's almost refreshing. It's cold. It makes everything go down easier. And there's something about how it plays off of like proteins and the fatty content of the other stuff you're eating that kind of makes this nice marriage in your mouth. So I'm right there where it's perfectly cold. Is yours like room temp, or what are we dealing with?
Mine's room temp, but I got to say I agree with you. The temperature is almost as important as the dish itself.
Yeah.
Because with everything else on that table, quite literally everything else is hot.
Yeah.
And if this thing isn't cold, then what are we doing? It's the contrast of the temperature adds to the flavor of it, not just like the flavor itself. It really does. My other question for you was, in your research, did you find anything about, like who was the first person to come up with cranberry sauce? How did they do it? Because I personally couldn't.
I didn't think I found anything that was that specific. I think one of the things, and this is like not hardcore research, this is basically off Wikipedia, but the recipe for it appears in 1796 in that year's edition of The Art of Cookery by Amelia Simmons. And it is the first known cookbook authored by an American, and it's in there.
Oh, wow.
So that's reaching quite a while back, 200 years until, plus from now, looking back to then and the recipes in the cookbook. So you got to assume that it was probably being made enough to warrant inclusion in a recipe book sometime before that. But I don't think it, to my knowledge, does not give a, George Washington Carver and peanuts and shit. The canned cranberry appeared on the market in 1941, which is probably, linked to its popularity in Christmas.
That makes sense too.
From that,
like canned foods starting to become bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I couldn't. From what I've seen, I don't know that there's one person who's like the crowned king of the cran realm or anything like that. So that's disappointing.
Yeah, I couldn't really find it either, but I feel like it's definitely something that, I don't know many people that, I haven't had tons of Thanksgiving dinners with other folks, but I imagine that it's a staple around quite a few.
Gotta be.
Yeah,
I can see people not liking it, but I think even if you don't like it at this point, it would be alarming to have it not be included.
Yeah. Here's the other question. Would you, if there was another meat at Thanksgiving, let's say everything else was the same, like the sides, but the meat was like a, I don't know, like a red, not necessarily a pork, because I actually think pork and cranberry definitely go together. But I'm talking about
white meat for sure.
But I'm talking about like a roast, like a meat roast or some type of like not steak, but like a red meat, like a brisket or something. Would you do the cranberry then?
I'd be willing to try it. I think with beef, I think it would be okay. I think you'd be okay in like a tenderloin situation, maybe a brisket situation. That's really hard to picture.
Yeah.
Like I know what brisket tastes like, and I know you do too because you're a smoke master.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a brisket here in LA for Thanksgiving.
Bitchin'.
And I'm trying to figure. I don't think I'm gonna do cranberry sauce with it. Because I feel like what we're gonna do is like the brisket, the homemade barbecue sauce, pickles and onions, like the Texas style, and then mashed potatoes, probably like some cornbread or something.
That's good. Well, that's a very clear direction for your Thanksgiving, right? That's almost like hey, we're gonna like a Texas style barbecue Thanksgiving.
Yes,
I think it's good. You have clear theme. You're not trying to work anything, a different direction. Like just we'll do everything, but we'll just sub brisket. So I think that makes sense. I cannot rectify cranberry and brisket taste in the playground of my mind.
I have a very hard time picturing it too.
So what I will say is I could picture venison, and venison, kind of a traditional Christmas meat.
Yeah.
And I'm not like one of these venison guys, even though I live in the Midwest.
I'm not one of these venison guys. I didn't even know there were venison guys.
Oh Christ! When you live in the Midwest, dudes, especially like Wisconsin dudes, like with the hard accent and like about 40 extra pounds and a safe full of guns who like do hunting.
Sound like my kind of people.
There are Midwest dudes who make it their life goal to convert everyone they've ever met into eating venison. That is like a type of guy. It is awful. So I'm not one of them, but I've had some venison dishes that I enjoyed, and I like a blueberry sauce is good with venison. So
interesting.
I can see cranberry also being okay with that.
All right.
The beef aspect of it, I don't think you would have a huge contrast where you would hate it, but I just don't think I don't see it going so well together that you'd be evangelizing,
right.
Hey, next time you make brisket, whip up some cran. That seems insane.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, as we wrap up here, I feel like your accoutrements were much better for cranberry sauce. Mine were just like, well, what do we have? And let's figure
That's
it
all
out.
right.
I wish I got some turkey cold cuts and made it. Yeah. But I will say that the big winner here for me were the tortilla chips with it, because it tasted like chips and salsa, and it tasted like a cranberry salsa, but unequivocally
that's definitely unorthodox on its face, but when you think about it, yeah, totally get it.
It
and
works.
even, I mean, I think you could take that another level and maybe add some cayenne pepper or something to get a little spice going to push it more into the salsa realm.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that might not be bad. I've had cherry salsa that's very, very good. So
Oh yeah,
you could be
yeah.
there.
I'm definitely gonna get some ground turkey, make some turkey burgers, and put cranberry sauce on them.
Yeah,
For
amazing.
sure. Because
Yeah.
I looked it up. This is good for 10 to 14 days in the fridge.
Oh, there's so much fucking sugar in this. Even if you cut it back, no mold is going to look at cranberry sauce and say, yeah, that's where I want to set up shop.
Right, exactly. But cranberry sauce unequivocally still good for me.
Amazing.
And
Loved
not
it,
only
loved it
that,
hot.
yeah, necessary.
Totally
Like,
necessary.
for Thanksgiving.
Totally brings the whole thing together. And your point
100%.
about the coldness bringing the taste to the forefront, never thought of that before. One of the most profound things I've ever heard about Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you. But it's I'm glad you agree, because it's definitely, the temperature just brings out the whole flavor.
It like makes you aware, like, to pay attention to this part of it, even though you're probably eating less volume than the other things. It's like, hey, it's here.
Right. And because of that, I don't think I had a bite. And I think in the past several years of Thanksgiving dinner, I don't think I've ever had a bite of food without cranberry sauce with it.
Oh, no, you gotta
Truly.
You gotta get through that. And even even in college, shout out to the Orange Tree Deli in Orange, California.
Yes, dude.
Where every Thursday they had like a Thanksgiving meal for lunch, and I would order extra cran every time because I was like, I can't. If I run out, I'm not gonna want to eat more of it. Like, I need it in every bite.
Yeah.
I'm very, very.
That place was great, and the German deli was great.
Oh, yes. Also,
German deli's potato salad is still probably the best potato salad I've ever had.
Crazy, amazing. So
Yeah.
if you're in Central Orange County and need lunch advice, hit us up.
What was the German deli called again?
Modern Sausage.
There you go. Yeah. God, that place was great. And yeah, Orange Tree Deli was amazing too. But guys, that's our show this week. Join us next week as we dive into another side for Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening. We're glad to be back. Check us out, stillgoodshow.com, stillgoodshow@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. And we will see you next week. And
if you like this show, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever the fuck. Even if you say mean things about us, just put 5 stars.
You can say whatever you want, just put 5 stars. I completely echo that. And I'm worse than Bear, so just be mean to me. Bear's a sweet simpleton who would never hurt a fly.
Never.
See you guys.
Bye.